Irene, I'm asking, what are some of the common grammatical mistakes that we usually make without knowing? I'm breaking. Am I not breaking? I'm asking what are some of the common mistakes that we make as far as grammar is concerned. Can you hear me? Irene, you can't hear me. Yvette, can you hear me?
I've not started hearing you.
You've not started, but I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Stephen, can you hear me? And there is this student here, Yvette. Yvette, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, then we can start. If you can, all of you hear me, then I can start by actually presenting. And I'm going to share my screen. This one is taking so long so that we can start. My question was this, Irene. What are some of the common grammatical mistakes that we make as far as English is concerned?
Maybe by not following the punctuation marks when writing sentences.
What about Stephen? What are some of the common mistakes that we make? Stephen, can you hear me? Stephen, can you hear me? I asked a question about grammatical mistakes that you can make, and I've not gotten any response from you, Stephen.
Oh, couldn't get you well. Grammatical mistakes. Fine. Spelling.
On your side, you're breaking.
Spelling mistakes.
What? Spelling mistakes.
Spelling mistakes. Yeah.
Emma, you've just joined us. What are some of the common mistakes that you make as far as grammar is concerned? Anyway, I'm unable to share my screen, and the moment I share my screen, I think it gets to a point that I cannot even hear you. So what you're going to do, we are going to share our notes here. We're going to use this particular part to share our notes. I hope we can all see that particular section. So what I'll do, I'll share my notes using that particular section. And because I had prepared what we call a PowerPoint presentation, we cannot do a PowerPoint presentation on that particular section. So what I'll do, I'm going to be sharing my notes bit by bit until we complete this particular topic. Unless there is a concern there, unless kuna mtu anisikii ama kuna issue. Yvette, I hope you can also hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's very good. Now, let me start by sharing my notes, and I'm going to start by doing what we call not sharing, but actually putting something on that particular area. We call it what? Shared notes. I'm going to start. Wait a minute. Dakika moja tu. So our topic is the one that I've just displayed there, and our topic is the most common mistakes or the most common grammatical mistakes that we make. These mistakes, sometimes we make them knowingly, but most of the case, we make them unknowingly. Most of these particular mistakes, we make them unknowingly. So therefore, a little bit kidogo. So there are some things I'm doing on my side. I'm trying my best so that we can all be at par. Can all be at par. Yeah, I can share my notes now. I can now share my notes. Wait for it to open. Continue. So we're going to look at the topic. We need to have what we call an introduction. So let's look at an introduction. Let's introduce this particular topic.
You're breaking.
I think it's because I'm trying to share my screen. Especially when it comes to sharing the screen. So let me close the sharing of the screen. So tungoje kidogo. So yeah, I hope now you can hear me because it has already stopped. Public chat. You are saying, Moema, that you can hear me. Irene, I'm breaking. Irene, can you hear me?
I think we should wait for
Yes, I can now hear you.
I think the problem is when I try to share my screen, there is the breaking of the sound. Now I'm not going to try sharing my screen. What we are going to do, we are going to look at that particular section. I hope where you can see the names of people. Kila mtu anaona hiyo section. Emma Kadhure, can you see that particular section of where you can see a list of names? You can see my name, you can see Irene, you can see your name. Can you see
Yes.
that section?
Yeah,
Now,
I can see.
click on the shared notes. click on that particular section. Tukitoka kwa public chat, kuna shared notes. So click on the shared notes. Everyone. Have you clicked on that, Emma?
Yes.
Are we on one page, all of us? Please respond because we want to start.
Yeah.
Stephen is saying yes. Yvette, are we on the same page?
Yes.
Irene?
Yes.
Irene, are we on the same page? Yes. Now click on the public chat, and when we start, we start not public chat but shared notes. When we start, immediately we start, please put off your microphone so that we can all be at par. Kindly do that. Switch off your microphone. Thank you. I can do that. Now, we are looking at the most common grammatical mistakes, and we are on that part of introduction. And we are saying that this particular topic focuses on one of the most important elements of good writing, which is grammar. That it means that the rules by which words fit into the structure. So grammar means the means through which the rules of words fit into one structure. So here are some of the common mistakes made by journalists, not only by journalists, but by so many people. So it's not only journalists that does these common mistakes or that commits these offenses. Even as students, we usually commit these offenses. Most of the time, we commit them unknowingly. I will not say knowingly, because if you know, you would not commit them. So we commit them unknowingly. So going through the topic, the learner will learn to identify and avoid them in his or her writing. In short, we are saying, once you know where the common mistakes may arise, you will actually tend to concentrate on that area so that you avoid such kind of mistakes. So what are some of the objectives as far as this particular topic is concerned? The objectives are that by the end of this topic, you should be able to, number one, understand the various common grammatical mistakes and avoid them. In this particular topic, we are going to go through various common grammatical mistakes. And I hope in future, starting today, you will try as much as possible and avoid them. So we are going through various, not all of them. There are so many. We cannot go through all of them at once today. So I'm going to go through various and the common. Remember, it is common grammatical mistakes. So if you are to put all of them there, then we might take even a week looking at all the common, common grammatical mistakes that we make, and we should avoid them. So I'm going to go through various, but not all of them. All of them is now your job to go and look for various, more others. The next point is that at the end of this topic, you must know how to convert direct quotes into reported speech. Direct quotes are words said by a person exactly. A very good example is the one for COVID. I actually gave you the one that Mutahi Kagwe usually say, that if we treat this disease normally, it will treat us abnormally. That is a direct quote. So how do you turn it into something that is reported? Then we are going to look at the end of this topic, you must be able to differentiate between what? Between a simple, continuing, and a completed tense. But what is a simple tense? What is a continuing tense? And what is a completed tense? That is what you're going to learn. So I don't want to waste much time on that. So I'll go to exactly. Maybe we are going to look at one common mistake that we usually make. I'm going to look at 9 common mistakes. I'm going to look at 9 common mistakes. And as you are at home and we are learning, it is always good to have a book besides you so that you can write something. So this is one of the common mistakes, and one of the common mistakes is collective nouns. So when you talk about collective nouns, we are saying that some nouns which are collected. Can somebody give us an example of collective nouns? I will ask Yvette because you are in the last class. What did we say collective nouns are? We said this in the when we were looking at the parts of speech, when we were looking at the verbs, the adverbs, the nouns, the pronouns, the articles, that is the and an. We also looked at interjections, conjunctions, etc. What did we say collective nouns are, Yvette?
It is a noun that denotes like a group of things or a group of people.
For example,
Can I say a crew of dancers?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so crew is a collective noun.
Yes, we said that collective nouns, it actually denotes what actually you have said. Let me use your words. Denotes a collection of things. Like, for example, when you're talking about shoes, you don't say two shoes. You just say a pair of shoes. When you're talking about eggs, you don't say 12 eggs or 30 eggs. You just say a crate of eggs, etc., etc. When you're talking about people, you can talk about congregation, you can talk about mass of people, you can talk about something like that. Those are what we call collective nouns. And therefore, as far as mistakes are concerned, sometimes we tend to make mistakes based on collective nouns. For example, we are looking at this particular example here. The government said it was going to abolish income tax. That's what the government said. So when you're talking about collective nouns, we usually refer them as one. We refer them as one. Like you cannot say, like you cannot say, as far as this example is concerned, the government are planning to abolish income tax, or the government, unless you're talking about the government. If you're talking about the government, then you can say are, because a government is an institution, or is actually a collection of so many things. We have ministries there, we have people there, we have ministers there, we have the president, we have so many things. We have so many systems that makes up a government. Therefore, you cannot say governments are the government are planning, or the government are going to abolish income tax. Because it is one collective noun, we usually refer it to as one. Like, for example, we can actually say the government is planning to abolish income tax. Or you can say the government said it was going to abolish income tax, but not the government said they were going to abolish income tax, or they are going to abolish income tax. That one is very wrong. So we go to the next point. You're being told, however, if collective noun is more noted for its individual part, treat it as plural. This is commonly done for sporting teams. For example, the team manager said they were going to win. The team manager said they were going to win. That one is very wrong. Is very right. But when you say the team manager said it was going to win, you see there is there is what we call a common mistake. So sometimes we tend to make this kind of mistake. When the team manager said they were going to win, he's referring to himself and the team. But when you're referring yourself with your team, this is what you're going to say. The team manager said they were going to win. But when you're referring yourself, only yourself, You only say the team manager said he is going to win, not the team manager said it was going to win. That one is not right. Any question? Yvette? Sorry for mentioning your name a lot, because you are very active. You know, some people, I ask them questions and they say that sikusikii vizuri, it is breaking, I can't hear you. Anyway, we are saying now that is another thing. You're also told, remember that a singular noun should be treated as a singular, even when it contains several things. For example, we say a bag of coconut is sitting on the table. You're being told, remember also that singular noun should be treated as singular. What is a noun? A noun is the name of a person, a thing, a place, etc. So when you talk about something like the bus or a bag is a noun. What type of a noun is a bag? Steven. What type of a noun is a bag? We looked at various types of noun.
A proper noun.
A proper noun. A bag is a proper noun. Irene, were you here? Irene was not here. But maybe Yvette, you can help us. What did a bag is? What type of a noun?
A common noun.
Yeah, it is a common noun. We said common nouns are nouns of things that you can see, touch, and you can see them and you can touch them. I also remember telling you your computer, your pen, your laptop, your book. Those are common nouns. No, those are usually call them concrete or common nouns. So when you talk about a bag is a common noun or a concrete noun. Proper noun, I'm referring to Stephen. Proper nouns are nouns that refers to maybe streets, refers to what we call buildings, name of buildings, names of people, etc. And when you talk about proper noun, they usually start with what we call capital letters most of the time. Like if you're writing University of Nairobi, you don't write university with a small letter. It is, you start with a capital letter. When you are writing your name, Stephen, we don't write it with a small letter. Now that is what we call the proper nouns. I hope, Stephen, we are okay now. So when you talk about a bag of coconut, okay, that statement is okay. A bag of coconut is sitting on the table. That one is okay. It's very right. A flock of sheep is grazing in the field. That is very right. A flock of sheep, a flock. Flock refers to what? Flock refers to a collective noun. So a flock is a collective noun. Remember we said when you have a collective noun, it is considered as one. So when you're talking about the team was happy, you don't say the team were happy. So one common noun is one concrete noun, no collective noun is referred to as one. Or is referred to as one particular item. Like when you're talking about a flock is, when you talk about a flock, it consists of so many sheep. There are so many sheep there. They can even be 2,000 sheep, but you're calling it a flock of sheep. So when you talk about it, you're going to say a flock of sheep is grazing in the field. You don't say a flock of sheep are grazing in the field. So these are the common mistakes. Another example is when you're asked your name. You don't usually say my names are Irene Mbone or my names are Yvette Okeo. No, you don't say that. You say my name is, because your name is a common noun. Your name is a common noun. So when you talk about the other example, you're being told the bus full of nurses is waiting outside. This one is very correct because the subject of the sentence, bag, coconut, flock, and bus. No, we are talking about, this is because the subject of the sentence is a bag for the first particular example, not coconut. A flock, so the second example is a flock of sheep, not sheep. And the bus, the next one is a bus. We are not talking about nurses. We are talking about that particular. We are talking about that particular bus. So let's move to something else. Let's move to something else. So that is one. We said we are going to look at 9. Going to look at 9 common mistakes that we usually make when we are writing or when we are speaking. The next one is neither, none, each, and every. So the words neither, none, each, and every are treated as singular. So when you talk about they are treated as singular, we are saying this. For example, in a sentence, maybe we are how many in this group? We are 1, including myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 5. So if you want to talk about, if you want to show that nobody came for the meeting, you will say neither of them came to the meeting. Neither of them came to the meeting. You don't say, or let's say, for example, you're talking about 2 people. Talking about Yvette, maybe, and Irene. You will say neither Yvette nor Irene were interested. So you don't use were interested, but you can say neither Yvette nor Irene was interested. So you treat it as one. Maybe you are giving them food. So you can report and say neither Yvette nor Irene was interested with the food. You don't say neither Yvette nor Irene were interested. That is a common mistake that we usually make. So you are being told that neither, none, each, and every are treated as singular when they are the subject of a verb, even though they refer to more than one thing or a person. For example, when you say neither the teacher nor the students was present. Neither the teacher nor the students was present. You don't say neither the teacher nor the student were present. Unless you're talking about which is not right. Unless you're saying neither the teachers nor the students, which is not right. So then we are told should be treated as singular when they are the subject of a verb, even though they refer to more than one person. This is because the word mean not either one, not one, each one, and everyone. Not one, each one, or everyone. So here we are saying, for example, you are told neither the man nor the woman is able to speak right. You don't say neither the man nor the woman are able to speak right. That is very wrong. it is neither the man nor the woman is able to speak right. Is able to speak. So we have the wrong sentence here. Neither the man nor the woman are able to speak. That is very wrong. That is the rule of grammar. Whenever you are using neither, none, each, and every, they should be singular, not plural. The moment you start using plural, then that is where we go wrong. And this is a common mistake that we usually make as far as English or grammar is concerned. So the word none is treated as singular because it is short for not one, even though it is usually followed by a plural noun. The subject of the sentence is none, that is, not one, and therefore needs a singular verb. So you are being told that when you're talking about the word none, you need a singular verb. And therefore needs a singular verb. The subject of the sentence which follows, not men, it's none. For example, none of the men was willing to testify in the court. We don't say none of the men were willing, because the word none should be treated as singular. Maybe I can have another example and we see whether Yvette will be able to tell us whether it is wrong. I'm giving an example. Yvette, I hope you are listening. And this is my sentence. Every car, my sentence is wrong, so you are supposed to make it right. Every car, bus, bicycle, and rickshaw in the city have to be licensed. That sentence is wrong. I hope, Yvette, you are right in this. Or maybe I can.
Pardon.
Let me put it on. Let me put it somewhere you can see. Can you see it now?
Right. Every car, bicycle.
Yvette, you can see what I have shared with you on the shared notes. Now I want you to put that sentence into something that is correct, into its correct version.
Every car, bus, and bicycle and rickshaw in the city has been licensed.
That is how it should be.
That is my answer.
That is your answer. I respect your answer. Stephen, can you try?
Every car, bus, bicycle, and rickshaw in the city has to be licensed.
Has to be licensed.
Yeah.
Irene.
Every
Irene.
car, bicycle, and yes.
Every
car, bus, bicycle, and rickshaw in the city has to be licensed.
I'm also looking at Emma. Emma, can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you tell that sentence there has got mistakes? Can you rectify it and put it into its right
Every
position?
car, bus, bicycle, and bicycle has to be
Licensed.
Has to be licensed.
Yeah.
Yvette, what did you say? What was your answer? Yvette, I'm asking, what was your answer?
Pardon?
I'm asking, what was your answer?
Has to be licensed.
Yeah, actually, the right answer is this one. I hope you can see it. Every car, bus, bicycle, and rickshaw in the city has to be licensed. That is, here is where there is a problem. Hapa ndio kuna shida, where we have has and have. Have refers to, it's actually, when you talk about have is plural. Has is singular. So the correct answer is every car, bus, bicycle, and rickshaw in the city has to be licensed. So Irene, you are right. I also want to congratulate Emma. You are right also, and Stephen. We are all right. So we go to something else. So we've talked about so far. We've talked about the collective nouns, and we said that collective nouns should be treated as singular. Neither, none, each, and every should always be treated as singular. But when you're talking about two people, neither the husband nor the wife was happy about the decision that was made by maybe the pastor. Neither the wife nor the husband, neither the man nor the woman was happy about the decision that was made by the padre or the pastor. That is the correct thing. You don't say neither the man nor the woman were happy. That one is very wrong. So we are saying that they are treated as singular. So again, we go to what we call the third one. We are going to look at the misplaced modifiers. Misplaced modifiers. So we have the misplaced modifiers. So what are modifiers? Yvette. Or maybe let's have Emma. Emma, what are modifiers? Emma, we are asking, or you are looking for answers. You know, when you are far away with your phone, you can do miraculous things. Huh? Emma, we are waiting to hear what modifiers are. So let's continue. Let's say that when you use a phrase to modify, So we are saying when you use a phrase to modify or describe part of a sentence, make sure that it describes the correct part. The rule is that the modifier attaches to the nouns nearest to it. Mistakes sometimes can be very amusing. For example, you're being told the plane came to a halt in front of the clan chief, who was dressed in a grass skirt. So modifiers are those particular words that you use to make your sentence at least lively. Like, for example, here they are talking about grass skirt. Of course, there is no grass skirt. We cannot say that the clan was dressed in a grass skirt. Remember, this is a clan chief who was dressed in a grass skirt. This is amusing. So this is right. So we can say the plane came to a halt in front of the clan chief who was dressed in a grass skirt. But we cannot say dressed in a grass skirt, the plane came to a halt in front of the clan chief. You see, when you talk about dressed in a grass skirt, you refer now to the plane instead of referring to the chief. So sometimes it can become amusing. Hata watu wanaanza kucheka tu. People will start laughing at you. And here maybe you are talking about the chief who was dressed in a grass skirt. Now it appears now the plane was the one wearing a grass skirt. So those are what we call misplaced modifiers. So be very careful as far as modifiers are concerned. So we go to the next common mistake. And the next common mistake, we are going to look at is the I, me, we, and us. I, me, we, and us. Stephen, we talked about things to do with I last week. We also talked about something to do with me, we, and us. What do you call them in general? I, me, we, and us. They are pronouns. What type of pronouns are they?
Personal. Personal is I.
Yvette, what about me? What type of a pronoun are they? What type of pronouns? No, what type of pronouns are they actually?
Can I say a demonstrative pronoun?
Which one specifically?
Me.
Me is a demonstrative pronoun.
I was asking.
I, me, we, us. They are actually called personal pronouns. Stephen is right. They are actually called personal pronouns. When you talk about answering Yvette, when you talk about you've talked about demonstrating pronouns. Demonstrating pronouns refer to theirs, them, no theirs. Like when you say here, there. Those are what we call demonstrative pronouns. Here is my pen. There is my, maybe for example, there is my car, etc. So there, here, those are demonstrative pronouns. Yes. So now this one becomes a problem, or it becomes what we call a grammatical mistake when you turn someone's quote into reported speech. Like for example, when you talk about he or she, when you talk about when you talk about I, and you want now to do what? To do a reporting speech. Like when you say, I am the boss here. How will you report that, Emma? My words are, I am the boss here. How will it be? If you are reporting it to Yvette, how will you say it?
He is the boss here.
Yvette, is that right?
Yes.
My question
can-
is, I am the boss here. Can you report that to Stephen?
Can I try?
My statement is, I am the boss here. Now I want you to report that to Stephen. How will it become? Or how will it be?
He is the boss here.
I think you are wrong.
Can I try?
Irene, how will you put it?
He said he was the boss there.
Good. He said he was the boss there. Remember, we are reporting. When you are reporting something, it is something that happened. Like today, we are waiting for news. So the news that we will be getting will be, it will not be immediate news. It will be something that was covered during the day. So it is reported, should be in reported speech. So I will become he. He said he was the boss there. Here becomes there. Me becomes him or her. Me becomes him or her. It is me who gave the clue. It is me who gave the clue. So if you are reporting that, you will say, it is him who gave the clue. It is him who gave the clue. Another one is my becomes his. Like when you say my brother is in London. If you are reporting that, it will be his brother is in London. His brother is in London. So my become his. If it is a lady who said it, you will say her brother is in London. We becomes they. Like when you say we are the best in English. The teacher said that we are the best in English. Emma, how will you put it? The teacher said that we are the best in English. So you are reporting this to Stephen. How will you say it? The teacher said that we are the best in English. How will you put it?
You are the best in English.
No, that one is not right. You're not following the rules. We becomes they. We are the best in English.
We are the best in.
How will you report it to Stephen?
Pardon the question.
The question is, we are the best in English.
Yes.
So you are reporting that to Stephen. How will you put it?
The teacher said that you are the best in English.
No, when you're reporting, it becomes, we becomes what? They. They are the best in English. We are the best in English. You are reporting this to Stephen. You will say the teacher said that we were the best. No, they were the best in English. So we becomes they. We are the best in English. They are the best in English. Or they were the best in English. Actually, because it is reported, it should be they were the best in English. Remember, when you talk about reported speech, we are talking about something that happened. It's not something that is happening. So that we are the best in English become they are the best in English. So the teacher said they are the best in English because you are reporting. So us becomes them, ours becomes theirs, you becomes him or her. Like when you say you are brighter than her, it will be, he said that she, I mean, when you talk about, let's say, for example, let's look for a very simple sentence. You will become the next president. When you say you will become the next president, you can only say you becomes him. So you can say, he said he or she will become the next president. So you can become he or she, or you can talk about her or him or them. So when you talk about you, also can becomes his, hers, or their. No, yours is his, hers, or theirs. Like when you say yours is to blame, so it becomes hers is to blame, hers is to blame, yours is to blame, hers is to blame. Any question? So yours becomes his. So when you talk about yours is to blame, or yours is to blame, then it becomes hers is to blame, or theirs is blame, or theirs is to blame, something like that. So you're told here that many journalists also remember to change the words I, me, and my in reported speech. Most of the journalists usually, they remember to change the words I, me, and my in a reported speech. But they also forget about the rest of the changes that have to be made. You only remember I, me, and my, but you forget to change the rest in that particular sentence. For example, let me give you an example here. And I want us to participate in this particular example. I'm putting it down. And this is the example, the one in bold. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva, I will do my best to protect our country. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva, I will do my best to protect our country. So I want it to be put in a reported speech. Any one of you can try, starting from Emma all the way to Yvette. So I'm waiting for the correct answer. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva, I put it in quote, I will do my best to protect our country. So you are reporting this to somebody else. Stephen, you're saying something?
I was asking if it is on reported speech.
This one is in what we call reported speech, yes. Actually, this one is, yeah, it is in the reported speech, but it is in quotes. So once you remove the quotes, it becomes what we call so can you try to give us the example? So it is in direct quote, so you are turning it into reported speech. It is in direct quote, you are turning it into reported speech.
Can I try?
Yes.
The Prime Minister told the soldiers that he will do his best to protect their country.
Somebody else? Me, I am trying. That is my trial. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect our country. Hii ndio nimejaribu,
Can I
yangu
also-
ndio hiyo.
Can I also?
Yeah, Irene, you can try.
The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers
In Suva,
that
yeah.
he will do his best. That he will do his best to protect to protect their country. I'm pardoning. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he will do his best to protect their country.
Somebody else.
I'm trying.
Emma, yeah, Emma, try.
The Prime Minister of Fiji told the soldiers that he will do his best to protect their country.
Somebody else.
The Prime Minister of Fiji
Yes.
told soldiers in Suva that he was going to do his best to protect their country.
Steve. Steven.
The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he will do his best to protect his country.
Good. Now, I've heard all of you speak, and there is one common mistake that you are making. Remember, we said in this particular area that, I told you that sometimes we focus on I, me, and what do we call it? We focus on, I said that we focus on I, me, and my in a reported speech, but we forget about the rest of the changes that has to be made. And that is what I have come to realize, especially when you are giving me this particular example. Me, I gave you mine. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect our country. Mine is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because we are talking about he will do his best to protect our country. You see, I have not changed that. Most of you are saying the Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he will. This is what you are talking about. You forgot to change this word to would. Irene, I heard you clearly, and you said that the Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he will do his best. Not will, but would. So this is the mistake that we are doing. That as long as these, you have changed these ones, the one that I've just highlighted here. I, me, my, we, us, our, you, and your, you have changed them. Just remember that there is also the sentence part of it that you're supposed to to change. Like we can start, the Prime Minister of Fiji told his soldier in Suva, that one is right, that he will. You cannot use will. Will becomes would. Will do. My becomes his best to protect. Our becomes what? Who can answer me that? Ours becomes
There.
becomes their, yes. So the correct sentence would then be, this is what the correct sentence would read. The Prime Minister, or let me just put it because I had already done it, to be like that. So the correct sentence would be, the Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country. So his country, our country becomes their country. So we move to something else. So this is the correct answer. Remember, Sazile, whenever you're in class, at home, make sure that you have a pen with you, especially when we are doing English, because I'll be asking such questions and you'll be expected to do what? You'll be expected to answer them and to participate. So the correct answer is, the Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to his country, his becomes their. So we go to something else. But before we go to something else, we can say that sometimes not enough, it is not enough just to change a few words. You're going to realize that sometimes it is not enough for you just to change a few words. Sometimes you will have to add words of explanation in a sentence. Sometimes you'll have to add words of explanation. So in the correct sentence, like the one we have above about the Prime Minister, you can actually see clearly the person speaking and to whom he's actually speaking to. However, when changing quotes into reported speech, you come to realize that occasionally it becomes less clear, especially in a paragraph or in paragraphs later in the story. Suppose then we can say the Prime Minister then went on to tell the soldiers. Like for example, like we can say, suppose now the Prime Minister then went on to tell the soldiers this, what I'm actually going to put. Suppose now the Prime Minister went ahead and told the soldiers this, I can do so much, but I also need your help. Suppose he went ahead and said this. How will you put it? Now I want a whole sentence. I want a whole sentence now composed. Okay. And then you're supposed to add this particular area. I can do so much, but I also need your help. So this particular area, I want it added to the main sentence, which is the Prime Minister of Fiji told his soldiers in Suva, I will do my best to protect our country. I can do so, but I can do so much, but I also need your help. I can do so much, but I also need your help. Somebody can try.
We add that to the other sentence.
Yeah, now you add this one to the other sentence, and then you convert that sentence into what we call a reported speech. You turn the direct speech into a reported speech. Remember, one of our objectives in this particular topic is number one, to be able to turn reported speech, no, direct speech into reported speech, and vice versa. So you must meet this objective by the end of this topic. I'm waiting. Yvette, umenyamaza.
Can I try? Can I
Yeah.
try?
Yes, Yvette, you can.
The Prime Minister of Fiji told the soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country, and that he could do so much, but he needed their help.
You have tried, but you need to work on that sentence. Somebody else. Emma. Emma, we are waiting.
The Prime Minister in Fiji told the soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country, and he said that he could do so much, but he also needed their help.
That is a good trial. You have tried. Somebody else.
Can I try?
Irene, yes, you can try.
The Prime Minister of Fiji told the soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country and that he could do so much, but he needed their help.
That is nice. That is very nice. You are so much close to the answer. But all in all, you have actually looked at, I can actually say that Emma and we can talk about Emma and Irene. You have tried your best. Actually, it is almost the same. But if I was to mark out of 5 marks, I would still give you 5 out of 5. I'll give you 5 out of 5. So the correct sentence would read, you see, as far as your sentences are concerned, you have you have incorporated everything that actually needs to be incorporated, and actually your sentence does not lose any meaning. It gives full meaning about everything. So the sentence reads, the Prime Minister, I'm going to put it there in a short while. Hata mimi nimeandika yangu chini. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country. So me, I would put a full stop there because we have been given an additional sentence. So I'll put a full stop there. Then I'll continue by saying, he said he could do so much. Remember, can changes to could. Can changes to could. He could do so much, but he also needed help from the army. You can still say, but also needed help. Needed their help, which is okay. So I'm posting my answer there. So if I were you, this is what I would say. So my answer would read like this. So this is how I'll put my answer. The Prime Minister of Fiji told soldiers in Suva that he would do his best to protect their country. He said, full stop, he said he would do so, he could do so much, but he could do so much, but he also needed help from the army, or from, he also needed their help. So when you talk about their is a possessive noun. Their is a possessive noun, and this one refers to the army. So that's why I'm saying Kadure, Emma, and Irene. You tried, which is okay. Yvette also you have tried, but you needed to put more effort on that. We are going to something else. And we are going to look at number disagreement. We are on point 5. Remember, I said there are 9 common mistakes that we will look at. So here we are going to look at number disagreement. Let me post my notes. We have what we call the number disagreement. And when we talk about the number disagreement, we are not talking about the actual numbers 1, 2, 3 or something. We are talking about the things to do with verb, pronouns, etc. Like we talk about verb crash. You find that you have 2 verbs, but they are clashing. For example, we can actually say half work in the media and the other half is waiting to perform. Half work in the media and the other half is waiting to perform. Is there something wrong with that sentence? Half work in the media and the other half is waiting to perform. Yvette, is there something wrong with that sentence? Yvette, I'm waiting. So you're told, I'm saying this. The other grammatical mistake we make lies on number disagreement. And here we are talking about verb crash. And as far as verb crash are concerned, I've given this example. Half work in the media, and the other half is waiting to perform. Is there anything wrong about that? Yvette, Irene, you can try. I can see, Irene, you are very online. Is there anything wrong with that sentence?
I think it's correct.
It's correct. Irene?
Yes.
How do you see the sentence?
Actually, I understood it.
It's not about understanding it. Is it correct?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
it's correct, because they are trying to tell us that half work in the media and the other half is waiting to perform, which is okay. Another verb clash is it's not often that the international press takes an interest in our politics, but they are now. It's not often that the international press takes an interest in our politics, but they are now. Anyway, when you look at all these, when you go through all these numbers disagreement, you're going to realize that if you're not careful, you're going to make mistakes. So always pay attention in number disagreement. Make sure that your number are agreeing. Pronouns, we also have pronoun clash, like they, like an example in a sentence, they are the only major party to have increased its vote over the past 8 years, which is okay. So those are the things, work on that. not going to dwell so much on number disagreement. So I'm going to point 6. I'm going to point 6. And point 6 talks about fewer and less. Fewer and less. So these are common mistakes that we usually make. Fewer and less. For example, I may ask, let me ask Emma. Why am I asking Emma? I'm asking Emma because Emma did not or was not there when I was introducing this topic. I mean, was when I was introducing this particular course. I also believe that Irene was not there, but Irene be the, I'll ask you after Emma has answered. When, Emma, do we use fewer and when do we use less? Emma, when do we use fewer and when do we use less? Irene, you can try. Oh, Emma, you are online. Anyway, one of you can try. Let's hear it from Emma first. Ni wakati gani unatumia fewer na ni wakati gani unatumia less? Or tell us, and the reason why. Also the reason why you use at this time you prefer to use fewer, at this time you prefer to use less.
Let me try.
Mm-hmm.
I think fewer is used when referring to things that are countable and less
Fewer
to
things that are countable, for example.
People, cars, buildings.
Can you give us a sentence? Give us a sentence.
The pupils in class are fewer as compared to yesterday.
So the pupils in today's class are fewer as compared to yesterday.
Yes.
Let's go. Unless
is used when referring to things that are not countable.
For example,
the water level of the tank is less.
Is less.
Yes.
Can we have Emma? You have tried. Thank you. Emma? Emma sijui ako wapi. Anyway, let's continue. Just like what you have said, Irene, fewer refers to things that are countable. Like people are countable, buildings are countable, even kilograms. When you talk about kilograms of sugar, kilograms are countable, but the sugar itself cannot be counted. But you can count the kilograms of sugar that you have sold that particular day. Less refers to things that cannot be counted. Like when you talk about there is less sugar left in the bowl or in the container, there is less sugar left in the container. Those are things that we cannot count. And most of the time, you've come to realize that people make mistakes when referring or when using the terms less. Like I'll give this one an example. I'll give an example there. I'm going to post it just right now. That one. Less than 20% of people have access to toilet facilities. That one is very nice. I mean, that one is good. And that one is very correct. That less than 20% of people have access to toilet facilities. Less than 20. You cannot say fewer than 20 or something like that. It doesn't make sense when you use such a thing or such a statement. So the next one, we are also saying fewer should not be used for measurement of quantity. You should not use fewer for measurement of quantity. For example, let me give you an example here. Do not use fewer for measurement of quantity. I'm giving an example where you're not supposed to use fewer for measurement of quantity. Miss Miller won a payoff of £5 million for fewer than 3 years of marriage. This one is very wrong. Miss Miller won a payoff of £5 million for fewer than 3 years of marriage. So how should it be, Stephen? How should this sentence read? Stephen?
Miss Miller won a payoff of £5 million for less than 3 years of marriage.
Yeah, for less than 3 years of his marriage. That is right. So never, again, I'm saying, do not use fewer for measurement of quantity. Do not use fewer for measurement of quantity. If you use fewer for measurement of quantity, you will end up writing a sentence like the one that I've just put there. Miss Miller won a payoff of £5 million for fewer than 3 years of marriage, which is very wrong. In fact, you look like an idiot when you write a sentence of the sort. So avoid using fewer for less and less for fewer. So let's look at something else. We are looking at tenses out of sequence. So tumebakisha tu vitu kama 3 hivi tumalize. I'm also looking at the time. When you talk about tenses out of sequence, we are talking about when you are using tenses and they are not going hand in hand with, like you're using past tense and you're supposed to be talking about the present tense, things that are going on. But in between, you're using past tense. Let me post an example there. For example, Kevin Peterson fell for a wonderful 71. For a wonderful 71, as Australia restricts England at Edgbaston. So here you are told that sentence is wrong and it does not even make sense. So for it to make sense, you should have actually added, it should be fell and restricted, or falls and restrict. Okay, it might not make that much sense. Let's look at the next sentence. And the next sentence reads, those who have toiled to earn their riches, should be allowed to spend them as they chose. Those who have toiled to earn their riches should be allowed to spend them as they chose. You see, that sentence is wrong. It should be those who have toiled to earn their riches should be allowed to spend them as they choose. So the word is choose, not chose. Choose with double O. That should it should be replaced by this. So those who have it now should read like this. Those who have tried to earn their riches should be allowed to spend them as they choose, not as they chose. Another example, and I think another example is he was in contrast. He was in constant pain, so he took too many pills and drank. So the problem is here, drank. Drank far too much. So can somebody tell us what is the difference between drank with a U, and drank with an A? Yvette, are you there?
Yes.
So tupe tofauti ya
Nico.
drank with an U and drank with an A. What is the difference between the two? Because we are told that he's using, that sentence is not right because of an U. Drank with an U or with a U. What is the difference between the two? Drank with a U and drank with an A or with an A.
Can I try?
So, okay, I think that drunk with an A is the past tense, while drunk with a U is the past participle tense.
Yeah, when you talk about drunk with a U, it's actually the past participle of drink. Drunk with a U is the past participle of drink, not with of drunk. Drunk with an A, we are talking about it refers to what we call maybe, for example, you're talking about drinking of something like water or milk or something. So of liquid. But when you talk about drunk with a U, it is about it's the past participle of the word drink. With an A is let me. So when you talk about drunk with an A is the past simple of drink, the past simple. Drunk with an U is the past participle. The drunk with an U is the past participle of drink. But drunk with an A is the past simple or past simple tense of drink. I hope we are together. So drunk is the simple past tense. Drunk with an A is the simple past tense of the verb drink, which actually means to swallow a liquid. But with an U is the past participle of the word drink. So we proceed to the next era. I'm looking at time, sitaki uchelewe lunch. So we also have another common mistake. And this other common mistake is what we call may for might. That is may for might. But sometimes we use the word may and we are supposed to use the word might. And sometimes, and vice versa, you find yourself using the word may instead of might, or might instead of may. For example, in a sentence, we can say, however, the center elected to pass to Greewalk, no, Grewcock outside him. Oh, no, let me look for another sentence. The second incident may not have occurred if something had been done about the first. The second incident may not have occurred. There is something wrong about that sentence. Let me put it there so that you read. We see the difference, or we see the mistake. See the mistake about it. Somebody correct that sentence for us. Emma. Emma ni kama ako lunch. Emma, can you correct that sentence for us?
Yeah. Just a minute. The second incident. I think it is correct.
It is correct.
No, the second
is that sentence correct?
The second incident might not have occurred if something had been done about the first.
Yes, that is the right answer. So it is wrong to say the second incident may not have occurred. So it is the second incident might not have occurred if something had been done about the first. So sometimes we make such mistakes. So umeona Irene ulikuwa umefanya the same mistake yenye huyu amefanya. Those are the common mistakes, so don't worry. No wonder we are learning about them so that we avoid them. Another example, another mistake that we make, and it is the last one actually, is this one, saying it twice. When you say something twice, you are making a mistake. Like when you say the little tiny baby, she picked up the little tiny baby. Or when you say sit down, or when you say a three-cornered triangle. You see, when you talk about a three-cornered triangle, you are saying it twice. We don't have a four-cornered triangle. Neither do we have a two-cornered triangle. A triangle has got three corners. So when you say a three-cornered triangle, you are making a mistake. So you are saying it twice. So instead, you should actually say a triangle or a three-cornered diagram. So let's see how we make, or we say it twice. I'm going to give an example there. And this is the example that I'm going to give. The example is both Resolution and the Law Society have drawn up separate blueprints to reform. Both Resolution and the Law Society have drawn up separate blueprints for reform. Both Resolutions and the Law Society. So you are being told, for it to make sense, you should separate, repeat, you should actually, when you talk about separate both. So you can actually say, let's delete the word both. So you can say Resolution and the Law Society have drawn, Resolution and the Law Society have drawn up separate blueprints for reform. But when you put both, you are repeating yourself, because we have Resolution and we have the Law Society. So when you when you start with the word both and still you are mentioning, it's like saying both my brother and my sister. You see, you cannot say that. You can only say my sister and my brother, A, B, C, D, or blah, blah, blah. You cannot say both my brother and my sister because they are only, both my brother and my sister. You can only say my brother and my sister decided or whatever. You cannot say both because you are repeating and you actually, it looks like a repetition. Actually, it is a repetition. Another good example is this one that I'm going to post it right away. So you are told to separate repeats both. So remove the word both. Another one is this one. In the early 19th century, they combined both of these. Can somebody tell us how should it read? Yvette, how can that one, or is it supposed to read? In the early 19th century, they combined both of these. How is it supposed to read?
In the early 19th century,
Continue.
In the early 19th century, they combined these.
In the early 19th century, they combined this. Yes, when you look at both there, it is redundant. Redundant means that it is like you are repeating yourself. So in the early 19th century, they combined this. Or you can actually say they combined this. So both is redundant. You can remove it and still the sentence will make sense. So I don't know what they combined, but this refers to what we call this refers to pronouns. And when we talked about pronouns, they are called demonstrative pronouns. So these, I don't know what they refer to. This is demonstrative. But the correct answer is in the early 19th century, they combined this. But you don't use the word both. Actually, it should go like this because the sentence is like this. In the early 19th century, they combined both of these. So because both is redundant, then we only remove the word both. And the answer will be, in the early 19th century, they combined of the, it doesn't make sense. In the early 19th century, they combined of this. No. It should be in the early 19th century, they combined this. They combined this. So that's how it is. Unless there is a question, I will stop there. Those people are, again, I'm going to open the notes for today's topic. I'm opening the notes for today's topic. And as we speak, you can download them as we speak. Unaweza download hizo notes kama tunavyoongea saa hii. You can now see them. You can now see those notes. So I will stop at that point unless there is a question, a concern, or a compliment or a complaint. So I will stop at that point. Tuonane next week. Na tukipatana next week, we are going to look at punctuation. We will look at punctuation, which is topic 3. As far as media management is concerned, tukutane Friday. We have a class there. Nasikizana Yvette.
Yes.
Steven, is there any question?
I can't see the notes.
You can't see the notes.
Yeah.
Where there is big blue button, the next thing that follows is the notes. Now, before you get to the big blue button where you joined this particular meeting, there are notes there. Imeandikwa topic 2 notes.
I see them.
You can see them.
Yeah.
Irene, kuna swali? Irene Mbonek, is there any
No, I'm
question?
okay.
Emma?
I'm okay.
So we meet tomorrow, next week. I mean, we meet next week as far as English is concerned. We meet on Friday as far as media management is concerned. So have a great lunch.
You too.
You too.